What's up, guys? So I have been putting off this video for over 2 years, almost 2 years. Everyone asked me about my cowboy boot skates, and I actually need to make a new pair of these because these are approaching 5 years old. They're starting to fall apart, as you can see, the seam right here. The welt is ripping, and the rubber on the bottom where the toe is wearing out because my plate's kind of short. And on the other boot, there's a hole in the leather on the side, and this is starting to rip. And I can't really show it on camera very well, but the liner on the leather liner on the inside is separating pretty nicely. So I need to make a new pair before these completely wear out and I'm forced to break in a brand new pair of skates. But before we get into making boot skates, I wanted to just talk about making skates in general out of non-skate boots. So personally, I don't have any running shoes at all. I wear boots all the time. I think the last pair of running shoes I bought was in 2013, and I can't really say anything about those. Although for the stuff that I do, I can't trust a pair of running shoes or Converse or anything like that as a pair of skates. They would just fall off. I do a lot of jumps and spins, and I stand on my toes a lot, and it puts a lot of force on the shoe, and it would fall apart rather quickly. So when you're making skates and you're picking something to make them out of, boots usually work better, in my opinion, because they're just constructed more heavy duty. Although if you're doing casual skating, you could probably get away with a pair of Converse. In fact, I saw one of the guys that used to work at one of the rinks I used to go to had a pair of Converse skates with some figure skating plates, and he could do front handsprings on them just fine. Your mileage may vary, it depends on what you do. And not every cowboy boot is going to work very well either. So as far as like regular shoes, other not running shoes because I don't have any, I have these. They would maybe make okay skates. They have leather soles, outsoles and insoles, and they're American made, and they're more solid than some cowboy boots. I did used to have a pair that I could show that was not built very well, and they were great for walking, but they literally had a plastic insert in the middle between the insole and the midsole, and the midsole was just crumbling, and you could literally shake out pieces. I definitely would not want to make a pair of skates with that. But the sole is only about, between the insole and the outsole, about, what, that thick? It's probably doable. I don't know how much I'd trust these. They might work, but I don't know. Other things you could make skates out of, as weird as these look, they would probably work very well. They would actually probably work. They'd be heavy. These are some steel-toed, metatarsal guard, waterproof, puncture-resistant work boots that I use at work. If you don't know, my day job is underground mining, so that's where that comes in. But due to the puncture resistance on these, they would grab a plate very well. But it doesn't, because it has that thick insole, it would hold it pretty well. Another similar style that I have that would work pretty well are these. They're like the leather equivalent of the ones I just showed. I know these will make good skates, and the reason I know that is because I do have a pair of them with plates on them. Yes, I have skated in these. Yes, they're very heavy. They're extremely heavy. In fact, I don't skate in them a whole lot because of how heavy they are, but they work. They have a nice puncture-resistant insole. The bolts grab on the inside really well. I just had to get a spacer plate to put in between the plate and the boot, because when I turn the wheels, the base of the foot's so wide because of the safety features that the wheels would hit the bottom, which doesn't allow turning very well, but otherwise they work just fine. The pair of boots that I'm actually going to turn into a pair of skates next are these. Now, they probably look similar to my existing pair of skates, and there's a reason for that. They're made by the same person. So these boots are actually not off-the-shelf boots. They are handmade in Amarillo, Texas by Bustamante Cowboy Boots. They are fit to your foot, and they are thick. I've seen how they're made. I know they're tough, and there's a reason that my old pair is almost 5 years old with the same plates. Granted, I've broken a kingpin on them once, but that's been fixed, and I have the same pair of skates. But these will be the next replacement, and that will be fun. So later, I'm going to get into how to measure them out, how to get the plates measured, and how to get them mounted. Now, one thing people ask me quite a bit is, well, how do you mount the plates and not feel to the boot? And also, how do you not feel the bolts? And I'll cover both of those in the same answer. So, if you've made skates before, you'll know this. If you're new to making skates, here's what a bolt looks like for a plate. I have the nut screwed on it and the washer and everything so I don't lose it, but you drill the hole through the bottom of the boot once you figure out where the holes go on them for the plate. And then there's, on the bottom, there are, well, on the top of the screw, it's completely flat, like flat. And this one has a Phillips slot on it, but some of them don't even have a slot for a screwdriver at all. They are completely flat. But you really don't need to put a screwdriver on this anyway, because what happens is the bottom of it's conical, and on it there's between 2 and 4 splines on it, and when you get it through the hole and start tightening this nut on the bottom of the plate, it starts scrunching it down, and those splines start eating into the substrate of the insole. And the tighter you get the nut, the more it grabs and the less it spins. So you really don't even need a screwdriver on the top. You just get an impact tool and crank the nut down, and then it'll sink this into the leather or the rubber, whatever's on the inside of your skate to be, and this will become completely flat. So when you're standing on it, even without insoles, you don't feel it, which is important because on these cowboy boots, on custom cowboy boots, they don't have removable foam insoles. They are leather on the bottom. That's probably also a fact a lot of y'all don't know about cowboy boots, but anyway, they're just solid leather on the bottom, so it's important that they're actually flat. And they'll be flat at the toes, they'll be flat on the heel, they'll be flat everywhere because all the screws are like this. The back ones are usually longer than the front ones because you have to go through the heel on the back, but otherwise they're exactly the same. And then once you get the nut all the way tightened, then you just break the excess bolt off. And that's that. That is that. As far as the rest of it, well, you'll have to pick plates, and you'll have to size your plates to your boot and figure out where you want to mount them, mark them out, drill the holes, and put it on. But I'll cover more of that in the next video because this one's getting kind of long. I'll see you around for the next one, and we'll get to getting the plate sized.